So we are in the Tanygrisiau Community Wildlife Garden, just outside of Blaenau Ffestiniog. 2 years ago, the place didn't really look anything like it looks now. It was a bit of an unloved piece of land, slowly being taken over by invasive species. There's just lots of grasses and rushes here, and there was very little biodiversity, very few habitats for wildlife. So over the last couple of years, we've been developing it as a community garden, which also has an orchard and a tree nursery. So the idea was to sort of create or introduce lots of different habitats for wildlife that would encourage wildlife back here. So we've got things like the bog garden, the wildflower meadow, we've got native hedgerows all the way around the field, we've got a sensory garden, and that's all designed, like I say, to encourage nature back, but also to provide a really peaceful place for people to come and relax and just enjoy being in nature and hopefully learn about gardening for wildlife. So it's been made possible firstly by Adre, the housing association who own the land, and they've very kindly given us a lease on it and allowed us to develop it. But it's funded primarily by the National Lottery, the Sustainable Steps Fund. We've also had funding from the Nature Partnerships Fund through the Eryri National Park and Gwynedd Council. We've had smaller grants from Adre and Keep Wells Tidy, but also we've had so much support from local people who've come to lend a hand and just get stuck in making things happen. The reaction, the response from local people has been lovely, really positive. Everyone was so enthusiastic right from the very beginning, coming and helping to plant up the orchard. We've planted hundreds of trees here, so everyone has been really happy to get involved, and they look after the place. The place is really well respected, and it's lovely just to see people coming here and enjoying being in nature, connecting with nature, getting curious about what we're doing, and how they can learn to garden for wildlife as well. I think one of the best things for me is just seeing how quickly nature has returned here, just how much wildlife there is now compared to what there used to be. That was the whole point. So it is lovely just to come here and see the meadow bursting with colour, and all the pollinators buzzing around, and also just watching people enjoy it. We've had our challenges. We've had some particularly dry periods, which has involved an awful lot of watering of the trees, but we're quite lucky the river is just right next to the field, so we don't have to carry the water too far. We've also, the storms in April unfortunately blew all the blossom off most of the apple trees, so we've only got a few apples this year. That and just constantly managing some invasive species, but other than that there's been no real major problems. So this is the heritage orchard, one of the first things we planted here. So we've got varieties of really old Welsh fruit trees that have been saved from extinction. So we've got things like Ynys Enlli, Bardsey apple, and the Denbigh plum. And the idea here is to create sort of like a mini food forest. So it's not your typical sort of allotment part style garden producing food. We've planted currants and gooseberries, strawberries, all kinds of herbs and perennials around the trees, which will eventually grow, like I say, into a sort of self-sustaining food forest, which will provide free food for local people. Yeah, so this is the bog garden, which we put in right at the beginning. It's important to have a water source for wildlife. So this is just a really wet patch of land, and we've planted it up with lots of different plants that are happy in a sort of a boggy, wet position. And yeah, it's lovely to come here and watch the dragonflies flying about, laying their eggs, and yeah. So this is the wildflower meadow, part of it. It's one of my favourite parts of the garden. So what we did here, we took the sort of top layer of the grass off and we laid some wildflower turf around the edge, and then we seeded the rest of it with wildflower seeds. And then the hope is over the years that the flowers will just self-seed and spread into the rest of the garden, which is already happening. We've also changed the mowing or the grass cutting regime in the garden, so we keep some areas cut quite short because some birds, such as blackbirds, they like really short grass to hunt for food, whereas other birds, they like the taller grasses and flowers for seeds. Yes, so this is the sensory garden. Again, one of the first things that we built here. The idea was to plant it up with lots of different plants and herbs. So we've got lots of mint here, we've got chives, we've got fennel, mustard plant, and we've bright flowers, and it attracts all kinds of different pollinators. But also, what's particularly nice is the local children love coming in here and having a taste of different things like the strawberries and the mint, for example. They're not particularly fond of the chives though.